Good afternoon. 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. Hope you're doing well. And we're doing a little late afternoon instead of early morning, but I am getting closer to early morning. Things is coming up. Just busy, busy, busy. Anyway, I want to wish you the best. Hey, so what happens when retro's canceled? You'd be surprised. It happens more often than not. I've coached hundreds of teams over the years, and you'd be surprised how many times it does get canceled. And I get Scrum Masters and Agile Coach. Oh my God, what are we going to do? Retro got canceled. What do we do? How do we do it? So I'm going to talk about that today on what you do and how you plan for it and make it less stressful for yourselves and everyone on the team. And there's ways to do it and there's ways not to do it. So it's important, right? And don't forget, Saturday, got a webinar on personal OKRs. I hope you sign up for it. Think about it. If you haven't achieved your goals yet, I definitely sign up for it. It's at least it'll get you a chance to run through your brain what you want to achieve over the next 6 months. It'll definitely be worth it. And like I said, if you don't like it, let me know and I'll give your money back for it. So anyway, today on the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show, we talk about Scrum and Agile in a very practical and tactical way. So you can bring more value to your customer, not work so hard for that value, and have a little fun along the way. And I had a team the other day that had to cancel their retro. It happens all the time. It's more often. Bubbles, hi. There, you're in the show. There you go. Bubbles is in the show. I don't know how she does it, but every time I sit here to get ready to do the show, there's Bubbles' tail flipping around on my picture. Stop hitting the camera, Bubbles. Lay down, would you? Oh my God. She finds me when I do this show. She knows. She has a sixth sense that, ooh, Dad's doing the show. I should be on the show. Anyway, let's get back to the topic at hand and not so much worry about Miss Bubbles, though she's probably more interesting than me anytime, right? So things happen all the time. It always happens, and Scrum Masters always ask me, Greg, what should we do? How do we handle it? So here's a couple of thoughts. So first, the reasons why retros get canceled. One, production issue. I've had bugs, people come and go, production lines come down, or something went, or CEO wants something and they need something, or something needs to be done right away. And that day just did not happen, even though we had it planned, right? Or in advance now, or there is a HR event or a company-wide event, or an all hands or a picnic for the company that you work for or something, or a vacation. Maybe half the crew's on vacation. Do you have a retro? Maybe people are sick and there's just really not enough people to have the retro. So there's all these reasons why retros get canceled. Now, what do you do about it, right? How do you, Bubbles, just stop. Would you lay down? Just lay down. Gosh, she's crazy. So what do you do? What do you do? Couple things, two scenarios. One, you should always have a plan. You should never not have your retro unless your retros are not producing the value you think they should. And if that's a question, I did another episode on how to handle that issue, right? And what to talk about. Are you getting the value? But let's assume your retros are supplying some sort of value to the team and how they're operating. Let's assume that level, right? So you should always you shouldn't just cancel it. You should always have a plan as a Scrum Master, an Agile Coach, or team, that if you have retros and something comes up like unplanned, let's say it's unplanned, you can cancel your retro. But however, I would always move it to a new time. It's okay if it happens after the sprint's over or the next week, but you should always have that retro. I know the key is having it before the sprint's over. Ideally, you would have it before sprint planning if you can, but it's okay to have it ever. So you schedule it for another day. Now, because it's an unknown, unplanned for cancellation, right? But only have a couple days later, not too far. Try to find something that maybe a particular topic or something that you want to talk about in retro on there shortly thereafter. So you don't want to cancel it. So you pick another date. Now, if you know in advance that your retro is going to collide with some other event that's pre-planned, corporate wide, whatever, have to cruise on vacation, whatever that would be, talk with the team ahead of time and ask them this. Don't make the assumption before and ask them, would you like to have the retro the day before, the day after, but shift it and get the team's viewpoint on when they would. Hey, we have an all hands coming up on the next retro. Do you want to have our retro the day before? Do you want to have it after sprint planning? Do you want to have it as part of sprint planning? What would you all like to do? And pick it as a team, but do not cancel it. Don't skip and retro. Reason why: once you start skipping a retro, and you're and in the Scrum guide, and when you read Scrum, Scrum Master is the, what is the proper term? That's really bad. I should know the proper term. But you're the advocate for Scrum. You are the Scrum expert. You're the master at Scrum, right? So if the Scrum Master decides retro isn't worth it, what do you think the other people are going to do? Like in a servant leader perspective, if the leader thinks Scrum, the retro is not worth it, then why do we do it, right? So I'm not saying that if you're not producing value, you shouldn't have a retro. That's another thing, like I said earlier. But you should consider the impact long term if you keep canceling retro because something came up. You got to come up with a game plan so that, hey, retro's canceled for today because I know work is crazy and things are just hitting the fan. So I'm going to schedule for next week on Tuesday. So when you cancel it, you let them all know when the next retro is going to be, so they realize it is important. Don't just cancel blank. Move it to another date on the calendar. Put a note out and say, this is what we're going to do. Or if you have a pre-planned corporate event, say, hey, ahead of time, I want to move the retro because we have this during the day. What day do you want to do it? Do you want to do it before the event, the corporate event, or do you want to do it after? But always in the same motion of canceling the retro at that set aside time, you should always pick another day to hold the retro, so they don't think that the retros is canceled in general. But in the same communication, again, 2 for 1, not communicating multiple times, in the same communication, you're moving the retro to a new day. So you get both things happen. Still important. Acknowledge the issue at hand. Don't be one of those diehard stricklers or freaky people that said, oh my God, we can't cancel retro. It always has to be on the same time, the same day, every time. Well, I'll be news for you. It doesn't, right? There's nothing that says it has to be. It just has to happen, right? Part of Scrum. Preferably before you do sprint planning. Preferably, right? Preferably after you do your sprint review. Preferably. But if something happens, it's okay. The world's not coming in. The sky's not falling. But you do want to set a new date for that. There is cat hair everywhere. What are you doing? Anyway, so think about it. Don't cancel the retro. So that's what we'll do today on our 3R Thursday, where we talk about requirements, reviews, and retros. I just want to share, don't cancel the retro. Just move it to a date. Have a plan in advance. Yes, you got to cancel it, but pick a day you want to have it, right? And in the same communication, let them know when it's going to be, and maybe put why, so people know why the retro is moved. It's just too hectic today. And they will appreciate you considering them on the fact that things are really hectic. And right now, the bigger priorities get that done. Long-term priority is the retro. Retros help long-term growth, right? But sometimes instantaneous, you got to do something. So I wanted to share that with you. I want to take the pressure off people panicking. Well, we still got to fit it in. Don't overdo it. Don't work so hard to get the value out, right? So, and have a little fun. Don't make it a miserable experience to have the retro and at the same time produce something that needs to get done and put into production, or need to go to a all hands or corporate wide thing. Satisfy that stuff. Just move it around a little bit. It's not going to happen every day. If it does happen every day, That's another issue, right? Maybe you pick a different day. Maybe something's wrong in what your organization's doing. Maybe there's something wrong with your code base. Could be, right? So I wanted to share that with you today. Again, also tonight, don't forget tonight at 8 o'clock, we're doing our interview. William's going to be on. We're going to talk about shifts in agile. We're going to talk about that business agility institute's report alongside Scrum Alliances on skills needed workplace. And it's a great lead into the webinar on Saturday, right? If you read that and you're not keeping up on your skills or what it should be, maybe you need to get the webinar. Maybe this is a lead into the webinar to say, maybe I just need to take a little bit of time, walk through it, and help maybe some ideas to figure out what I want to do in that next 6 months. Because you never know what's going to happen in these shifts that are happening in the corporate world. And it's just a way of being prepared. Thanks, Bubbles with the tail. Anyway, I want to say that with you. Hope you have a great day. See you tomorrow, Friday. Fun Friday. Got fortune cookies. Should be doing that tomorrow. And again, Saturday is the webinar. And next week is our meetup group meeting where we're going to talk about the same thing that we're talking with William tonight, but we're going to get a group feedback. We're going to get some feedback from all the members of the meetup, the ones that sign up to go to. Don't forget to sign up for RSVP to the Zoom. I have to remind everybody who signed up to do that. But we're going to have a group discussion and maybe broaden up the discussion and concerns that everyone has in this shift in the agile environment. So with that, have a great day. Happy scrumming, and we'll see you later. See you hopefully tonight as we do the interview. Bye.